If you collect anything, have you noticed that after a while you'll start to find unintended categories in your collections? Because I realised while looking through my fabrics that I have enough animal-themed prints that it looks like it should be deliberate, but it's actually a complete coincidence. Hi, hey, welcome, I'm Ghosty. I like making things, and collecting, obviously. I've also found a lot of joy and fascination in watching other people make things, so I thought I'd try out my own process video while I created my first themed mini collection. Here's a super quick view of the fabric combinations I decided on to give you an idea of what we're working with. I like to buy a lot of my fabrics secondhand or from Deadstock, though I do also buy some new, and I was really surprised to find out how well some of these combos came together considering I didn't buy them together. The animal category of my fabric stash just kind of happened, but I decided I want to embrace it and make an animal-themed collection of something. I'm still working on getting my boxy bags to come out in a way that I think I'd like to stick with long term, so that wasn't going to be where I was starting, but I was really pleased with the journal sleeve I made for myself with its little reversible pocket, so I decided to make some more of those. You can probably already tell that there's no real unifying aesthetic here, it's just the theme, it's just animals. And that's at least in part because this wasn't a deliberately curated category of fabrics, but it's also because I'm just not that consistent as a person. There are too many different styles that I like for me to ever just stick to one. I always told myself that if I ever started a YouTube channel, it would just be about whatever I'm obsessed with that week, and if I ever started an Etsy shop, it would contain the results of whatever I was fixated on at the time. And that's kind of how it's shaping up. But pretty much any advice I've seen for success on either YouTube or Etsy says that's a terrible idea, that you need a consistently recognisable something in order to grow. But I've got too many interests and too many things I like to work that way, and I don't really respond well to restriction. Maybe I'll change my mind in the future, but to the right now version of me, sticking to a niche just wouldn't look like success. It would genuinely make me miserable, and I don't want that for myself. I don't want that for anybody. My hobbies and creative outlets make me happy, and that's the status quo I'd like to maintain. Which is nice and lovely, except for the fact that I've very slowly come to the conclusion that I'd rather do this, making things, for a living than just about any other job I can think of. Which is terrifying for a whole host of reasons, down to and including that making a hobby into a job, also known as making it into an obligation, is a really good way to make it not enjoyable anymore. I'm still not sure what to do with that. It's important to me that you know that while I was editing this part of the video and considering how much Tiny Kitten to keep in, she launched herself up onto my desk out of nowhere and made me scream a little bit. Which I think means she wants to stay in the video, and also that I should calm the fuck down. So, calming down and going back to the project at hand, although there's a really weird mix of colours and shades here, I didn't have to buy any thread for this project, which I kind of only realised was borderline miraculous after the fact. I've got a really big collection of colours and shades considering that I bought very little of it, because my best friend donated a huge collection of thread to me that would otherwise have gone in the bin, which is amazing. Although it's pretty old and I had to take the top layer off a lot of the spools because they'd gotten really dusty, pretty much every one that I've tried has still been good strength-wise. I think I've only had to throw one spool away so far, which is incredible. I don't know why, but I've always loved acquiring things secondhand. I think it felt a little bit like treasure hunting as a kid, and I've rediscovered the love of it in the last couple of years. I have the same thing with upcycling. It feels a little bit like magic to take something with a very specific, defined purpose and turn it into something totally different. Both of those are things I think I'd like to keep as part of my crafting process, TM, part of my projects, but I'm not going to eliminate buying things new by any means. There are far too many nice fabrics and crafting components out there for that, and I'm a magpie. This cotton batting gets everywhere. Seriously, I made the mistake of storing it next to some black fabric, and now I just avoid using the fabric because I don't want to lint roller it, but I do love it. It's so soft to the touch, it's inexpensive, and it's narrow enough that I don't struggle to wrangle it. I do have to constantly clean bits of it off of my sewing machine and go over any project it's part of 17 times with a lint roller, but it's honestly so worth it. This stage though is where I start to get really excited to see the results. I turned the outers to check the seams, and just seeing them all stacked together like this before I started clipping the linings in place made me really happy. Sewing the linings into place went surprisingly smoothly. I've had issues before where the lining somehow comes out slightly wider than the outer and ends up with a little pinch or pleat in it once it's sewn into place, but I tried really hard to keep my seam allowances consistent this time and it seems to have worked. Closing the linings went significantly less smoothly. No matter how careful I was, no matter how diligent I was about holding my thread tails out of the way, no matter how many times I took out and replaced my bobbin, I kept getting thread nests on the only seam that would be visible, even though I'd had no issues for the entirety of the project until this point. There's a little switch on my foot pedal that allows for more speed control, and I had it set to high. I'm curious whether switching it back to low would have allowed me the control without the thread nests. Something to test next time. Honestly, I feel like I learned quite a bit during this project, and I'm excited to see what else I can pick up or refine as I keep sewing. I don't often feel much of a sense of accomplishment when I finish a project or a task, no matter how proud I might be of the outcome. If it's really boring, I just feel relieved. So it's nice that for the things I enjoy, I get a little boost of excitement for the next project instead. I was dreading the top stitching step here. I've struggled with it before on book sleeves. I'm not sure if it's because they're quilted or because you're essentially sewing a flat circle, or a combination of the two, but it always used to end up wonky for me. My current method for this is go as slow and careful as you can without losing focus, and it seems to have worked. I did eventually notice that the top stitching on one of these had to be unpicked and redone, but it was because the fabric had gotten a little bunched up and the top stitching had fixed the bunch in place. Other than that, it was all good, and even on the one that had to be unpicked, I'd at least kept the top stitching even, which was the problem I'd had when I first started making book sleeves. It's nice to see progress in your skills across projects. They're finished and I'm so happy with them. So we've got this intricate burgundy woodland one with the almost 70s style lining. I am really annoyed to find that a thread has come. I don't know if that's actually going to show on camera. Looks like a thread got pulled. I have no idea when that happened and I'm really annoyed about it, but there's not much to be done about it. But it's got a diamond crosshatch quilting, and then the pocket is reversible, as is the case for most of these just because of the way they're constructed. I've got this adorable like ochre kind of colour, the woodland animals, with a matching floral lining. I think this definitely displays this side definitely displays the pattern better, and one of my favourite things about this is if you reverse the pocket, it shows off this really derpy owl who looks so deeply concerned by everything. Look at his little face. He's so scared, and I don't know why, but that just absolutely kills me. But yeah, and that's what it looks like with the pocket reversed. Obviously, I need to give that turn that bit out properly. But yeah, I'm really chuffed with this one as well. Got some super cute sharks with a solid grey lining. Again, that's a sort of horizontal diamond crosshatch. I think this is cute as hell. When I ordered this fabric, I thought it was going to be cute, but I didn't realise how much I was going to like it, and it's absolutely adorable. We've got the bees on a kind of pale mint. This is a decor weight fabric. It's got just a plain white cotton lining. I've gone horizontal quilting with this one. The lines don't quite meet up. It's almost graduated like bricks on each side. Wasn't intentional. It's a result of either poor coordination, poor attention, or just a lack of practice. But I actually don't hate it. I kind of like the way it lines up, or doesn't line up. I'm pretty chuffed with it, yeah. Got this super cute sort of bunny rabbit, or bunny families, with just florals on foliage, and a matching floral liner. It's very similar to the one with the ochre, but just in a slightly different shade. And again, the pockets, same sort of style pocket on all of them, and with a diagonal crosshatch quilting. Another diagonal crosshatch quilting on this one. Just birds and flowers in a really cute pattern with a pale grey lining that matches the leaves on some of the flowers here. The top stitching on the pocket is white because I thought it would look nice, and it's grey on the top of the actual book sleeve because I thought that would look nice. It is intentional, I promise. But yeah, that was the decision on that one. This one also has different colour top stitching on the pocket and the top. It's got white on the pocket, which I thought would look quite nice. Oh, there's a little bit of batting stuck to that, and then it's black on the top because I thought the white would look really stark there for some reason. And yeah, it's again horizontal diamond quilting. We've got this super cute purple cats on bookshelves kind of situation, vertically quilted with the butterflies and florals in a matching purple on there. I really love the absolutely ridiculous, frankly terrible cat puns in here. Romeo and Juliet. I think there's Poor and Peace in there somewhere. Yep. Yep, there. Poor and Peace. And then for some reason, cat quilts. I don't know what that's about, but yeah. They're very, very cute. And then we've got this really, really vibrant, I think it's a Robert Kaufman print. It's just owls on a very cool purple, which is quilted in a just diagonal stripe style. White top stitching, just because I thought it would work. And this really vibrant teal and white. The pocket is the same, but I didn't have much of it left and had to piece two together because I only had a fat quarter of that, so I had to piece two pieces together for the inside of the pocket. But overall, I'm really pleased with these. It took me ages because I wasn't very well for a couple of weeks. But I'm really, really chuffed with them. I obviously don't need 9 journal sleeves for myself, so I'm going to put them on my Etsy shop. I just needed to make something. I'm really pleased with them, and unlike the one I made for myself, the sleeve is a couple of centimetres taller than an A5 journal, so everything fits nicely. God, it's battered. It's so battered. That's why I made a journal sleeve. Yeah, I'm really, really chuffed with these overall. But yeah, I'll have to put them on the Etsy shop out of self-defense because they can't just live in my house. I'm really chuffed with these.